Welcome to the Exit Strategy Master Plan. My name is Walter Bajoron, and in this course, you're going to not only learn about how to get the maximum price when it comes time to sell your business, but you're going to actually be prepared for the sales process. You know, one of my favorite stories concerns a Buddhist student and a Zen master. And the student asked the master to teach him. Then he began to talk about his extensive knowledge and background, and the student began to ramble on and on about all his previous studies that he had done on this subject. So the master sat and listened patiently, and then began to make a pot of tea. And when the tea was ready, he poured the tea into the student's cup, and it began to overflow and run all over the floor. And when the student saw this, he started shouting. He says, "Stop, stop. The cup is full. You can't get any more in." And the master stopped, and he says, "You know, you're like this cup of tea. You're full of ideas and previous knowledge, and you come to me and ask for teaching, but your cup is full. I can't put anything else in. Before I teach you, you have to empty your cup." Now, I know this story is an old one, and you've probably heard it before, but it's especially important for this course because before I can show you any new and exciting concepts on how to take your business and really make it attractive to the right buyer, I'm going to ask you to empty your cup, at least for the duration of this course. To take in this new knowledge and make it your own, you're going to have to open your mind. And instead of dismissing any of what you're about to be revealed to you as not applicable to you or not applicable to your business, instead, give consideration to how you can apply it to your business and how you can apply it to your personal situation. So to begin this course, I need you to forget whatever it is you already know about selling your business. Forget what everything you know about the valuation of your company. Forget about selling your business to an employee or a financial buyer. I need you to empty your cup because we're going to fill it with a completely new way for you to think about how you're going to be able to extract the most money from your business. Now, before you begin to watch or listen or read anything about this course, get your favorite ink pen. Get yourself a big old pad of sticky notes and a highlighter because your participation is mandatory in order to make this a huge success for you. Not only are you going to learn a lot of new and exciting concepts, but each module has a set of worksheets that you're going to need to complete as soon as you go through this training. As a matter of fact, you're going to want to make sure that you complete all the worksheets for each module before you move on to the next module. If you skip ahead, you're going to get a little lost because each module builds up what you need for the next module. So follow the course step by step, and I promise that we're going to get you where it is you want to go. Now, what I need you to do is set up a massive action work environment because this course is as much about the information as it is about the implementation. So in order to get the most out of this course, I want you to set yourself up a massive action work environment. So set aside time to complete each exercise in this module, even if that means that you've got to make an appointment with yourself or with your team to make sure that time does get set aside. If you're completing these exercises with your team, set aside time for each of you to work independently and then time for you guys to come together and create a shared vision. Don't worry about making everything perfect or using exact words or getting all the details just right. This is about massive action, resulting in massive implementation. So to set up your massive action work environment, find a quiet room so you won't get disturbed. Put a do not disturb sign on a door and then close it and lock it. Make sure you put your phone, turn it off or put it on do not disturb or unplug it. Turn off your email. Turn off any instant messaging. Anything that could distract you. Close out of your programs, except of course the one you're using for this exercise. And get yourself set up for a massive action work environment. All right, in this module, you're going to learn about who will be the best buyer for your business. We're going to cover planning your exit. We're going to talk about identifying a strategic buyer. We're going to talk about expanding the pool of possible strategic buyers. So let's get started. Now, hope is not an exit plan. Now, this may seem like an odd statement, and you're probably wondering where I'm going with this. But you see, it's so common for me to hear this word when I speak to entrepreneurs about how or even when they plan to sell their business. It's so common that the response to this question is, I hope to one day be able to sell my business. But let's face facts. Hope it's more of a dream because other than giving some thought, this thought some daydream time, most entrepreneurs have no real defined plan to get there. Certainly not an exact step-by-step set of instructions to get you from where you are now at this exact moment to where you truly want to be in your life with your business sold or even possibly operating as a source of residual income. Your exit plan is, at best, just a rough idea in your head that someday you'll sell the business and that hopefully that will secure the money you need for your retirement. Well, look, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but that's not a plan. That's just hoping things will work out. Hope is just a way to paint yourself into a corner and severely limit your options, especially if you wait until you need to sell the business because of many of life's unexpected challenges like health or financial woes. Now, hope is an interesting word because it's important to have hope if you need to hang on to something. Hope's a great word if you're stranded out at sea waiting to be rescued. Look, hope is absolutely crucial if you're in a life or death situation and there are no other options available to you. But in business, hope is an awful word. You never want to hope that your business will grow. You never want to hope that the right buyer will just come along and then hope that they'll offer you enough money for your business to fund your retirement. You never want to just hope that your business will sell quickly. And when you do put it up for sale eventually, and please don't rely on hope to make sure the business is worth enough to get you to the level of financial freedom that you so strongly desire. You're going to see this hope strategy with business owners who never seem to get ahead. They're the business owners who always seem to be struggling to find the next idea, the next new shiny object that'll set them free. But nothing that they hope will work to get them ahead in their businesses ever really does. They go it alone, and they never get to the level of growth that they desire. These businesses are the ones that just sort of fade away and go dark. So instead of just hoping to sell your business, let's come up with a well-defined plan, a documented path to get you exactly where you want to go. Let's talk about sequential versus simultaneous. You know, the other most common thing when I speak to other entrepreneurs when it comes to selling their business is that they say that first, they want to grow the business bigger. They want to add a few more zeros to the check that they get when they sell the company. And look, there is nothing wrong with that. You really do want to get a big check when you exit. But what is wrong with that statement is that first they want to grow the business and then they want to sell it. What's so wrong with this statement is that this path is sequential. It means that you're never going to begin to plan your exit because you're always growing the business first. There really is no end to the growth, so they never get to the point where they begin to plan to sell the business. So they never do. Well, not until they have a real dire need to sell the business, like some kind of health problem or some kind of, really, really big financial need. Only then is it necessary to come up with a real live exit plan, but by then it's too late. They're never going to have time to get top dollar for their business because it becomes a fire sale rather than a well-planned and well-executed strategy to sell the business. So rather than wait until the business is big enough, let's begin now and simultaneously grow the business for the right type of buyer, while at the same time building it bigger and bigger and preparing for the exit the entire time. Growing the business to sell and growing the business to serve your own personal needs are not mutually exclusive actions. They can be both accomplished at the same time. Actually, it's much better if you do them both at the same time anyway, because you'll always be prepared to sell the business. So if some type of emergency happens, you'll have already done all the work. Let's figure out how much you need, because so often the first questions that entrepreneurs ask when it comes time to sell is, what is my business worth? I mean, if you think about it, I bet it's one of the first questions that pops into your mind when you think about selling your business, doesn't it? It's quite natural to want to know what that number is. But with the new plan that you're going to begin implementing today, I'm going to get you to think about a much more powerful number, a number that means more to you than the value of your business. So instead of asking yourself, what's the business worth? Ask yourself this much more powerful question. And that question is, how much money do I need to live the lifestyle of true financial liberation? This is a real personal number. And when you're armed with that number, it simply becomes a plan to make that number match the value of your business. And then find someone to get you to pay for that amount. Now, not only is that number important, but also the timing is important. Ask yourself, do you need all the money right away? You know, with the right securities in place, you can give buyers much better options to purchase your business, and you help them to finance it. Many times businesses are not purchased as a full cash sale. There typically is some type of note carried by the seller for some period of time. Now, this of course does induce more risk into the deal, but the risk can be mitigated with the right legal structures in place. I've also seen that many times deals actually fall apart because the seller tries to get every single penny worth of value out of their business. And they don't focus enough on the bigger goal, which was to make sure that the sale of their business matched their long-term goals. What I want you to do is give some real serious thought on how much money you're going to need after the sale is over, including the timing of all those needs. And then you can make sure that the sale meets your long-term goals rather than about the number primarily. So what I want you to do right now is go to the worksheets for this module. And in exercise number 1, you need to take some time, give some real serious thought to your long-term personal goals, and write down the top 10 of those that have significant financial needs. Then move on to exercise number 2 and write down the timing of these goals. Give some serious thought to when you need to have those financial needs met. We certainly can't begin to make a plan until we know where we're going. So this is how you're going to start your master exit plan. In planning your exit strategy, you're going to need to get personal. You're going to begin your exit strategy with a clear, written definition of your personal, financial, and your non-financial goals. And here's a quick thumb rule to get you started with those financial goals. In the investment community, there's a term called the 4% thumb rule. It describes in details, which I'm not going to get into here, but that if you invest conservatively, that by living off the interest only of your investments, you can safely live off an amount equal to 4% of that principal amount. So, if you sell your business and you clear $10 million after taxes and closing costs and all the other expenses that go into that, then you can have a yearly budget of $400,000 without digging into the principal. Now, theoretically, that will last you eternally. Now, this is not a lesson on finances, and I won't even pretend to tell you where to invest your money or that you're going to get a 4% return on your investments. I'm not a financial advisor, and this is not financial advice. This is simply a rule of thumb as a rough number to use as a starting point so you can gain some clarity on how much you're going to need to sell your business for and then begin to plan your own financial liberation. Now that you know the 4% thumb rule, here's an important question for you. Can you live the lifestyle you want to live with an income of $400,000 per year? If this works for you, then great. You've got your number. Can you live off of $200,000 per year in annual income? If so, then you only need roughly a $5 million exit sale. But you need to find your number for yourself so that you have that level of clarity of what it's going to take for you personally. This is so important because so many entrepreneurs say that they would happily sell their business right now, like today, for half or a quarter of that amount. They really think that at a fraction of a $10 million sale that they could live like kings for the rest of their lives. They simply lack real clarity on how much money it takes to live the lifestyle you desire. I don't want you to make that mistake. So here's what I want you to do next. Go to your worksheets again. For this module, exercise number 3 is where you want to start. And write down how much you need based on this thumb rule we just talked about. Take the time you need and figure this number out before you move forward with this program, because once you're armed with this number, you'll now know precisely what you're going to need so you can exit your business. I can also guarantee that if you do this, you will have so much more clarity about your finances than 95% of other entrepreneurs that are just using that HOPE business plan we talked about earlier. Now, for the second part of determining your financial needs, I want you to take these numbers that you've got started with here and go find yourself a qualified financial wealth distribution advisor, of which I'm not. I want you to make an appointment and get a really accurate, really detailed financial plan so you can see exactly how much money you need so that you can live the lifestyle you deserve. The 4% thumb rule we talked about, it's simply a rough place for you to start. And I want you to get at least an idea of the amount of money it's going to take for you personally. But a good wealth distribution advisor is going to give you a much more accurate assessment of all your financial needs, much longer term than that little thumb rule will do it for you. All right. You're also going to see that in your worksheets. Exercise number 4 is to list at least 5 wealth distribution advisors that you can go ahead and start to use to plan your long-term financial needs. This plan starts with the end in mind. You've got to know where you are going so that you can accurately plan the details of how to get there. Now that we know how much money you need to exit your business with, you've got to find the right buyer to pay that amount for your business. Now, There basically are two types of business ventures which attract buyers, two ways that you can sell your business. The first of these methods is called a financial venture. This type of venture creates value on the exit by assigning a value to the future profit-generating power of your company. This is all about the money that your company can generate long-term for the buyer. It's got very little to do with anything else, and this is not the method I want you to pursue, but I want you to be aware because it's such a common reason that businesses are acquired. The problem with this method is that it's not going to be able to extract the maximum value for your business. It's simply a method that an investor can use to make money with your business. This is not the type of venture I want you to create for yourself. The second and much more valuable venture is called a strategic venture. This type of venture creates exit value for you, not on the basis of simply what profit your business can generate, but on the basis of what future profit could be generated by the buyer coming in and exploiting all the underlying assets and underlying capabilities of your company. These are fundamentally completely different types of business ventures. And I want you to focus 100% of your effort on creating value in your business that a much larger corporation can come in, this strategic buyer, can come in and exploit a significant revenue opportunity by buying your company. You, as a strategic seller, are going to build value by developing strategic assets and strategic capabilities which a larger company will exploit. Look, what's so great about this type of sale, on top of the fact that you're going to extract maximum value from your company, is that it also may not matter whether your business is making a profit. It may not matter whether your business has a really high revenue. And it may not matter whether your business is even growing. So if you want to extract the highest possible sales price for your business, you should be seeking out a buyer who can exploit your business better than you can. The process of sale preparation should be to reduce risk in the business to a buyer and create future potential for the business way beyond your capacity and your capability. On top of that, by finding multiple potential buyers, you can generate greater value in your business in the future than you can. You're going to be able to get top dollar for your business. So you need to break away from the past and concentrate your preparation on what the future of the business might look like in the hands of a much more capable and better resourced strategic buyer. So we're going to start to find those buyers who can best exploit the potential in your business and set them up in a competitive bid so you can extract the best price for your business. The goal here is to get more than one buyer wanting to use your business as a way to help and as a way to help grow and solve their problems. We want to walk away from this module with a massive list of potential buyers. We want to have a great big pool of candidates that would be able to take your strategic assets and your strategic capabilities and pay you handsomely for them. Now, we'll get into finding those strategic assets and those strategic capabilities in a later module. For now, though, we want to start off by getting that massive list of potential strategic buyers. Now, let's get into details of who is a strategic buyer for your company. You know, the best strategic buyer for your company is going to be another company that's, it's much larger than your company. Probably as small as 5 times your size, but they can be as large as 50 times or more of the size of your current company. In this case, guys, I'm sorry to say it, but size really doesn't matter. Your buyer is not going to be a person. It's not going to be an employee of your company. It's not going to be a financial buyer, but rather it's going to be a company, a much larger company than yours, and is in some way involved in your industry. Now, their involvement in your industry doesn't necessarily mean that they're a direct competitor of yours, just that they're larger and able to use your strategic assets to their advantage. It does not mean that they sell similar products to yours, but it may mean that their only involvement in your industry is that you both sell to similar types of customers. It may only mean that you both share a geographic region or that you share the same distribution channel. What you must start to understand is that the buyer can be any other company, even if they are only loosely related to your business, and these businesses are called complementary businesses. These are businesses that produce or sell goods or services that complement your goods or services. And you need to become tuned in to finding them every single place you look. So let's talk about finding a complementary business. The way you go about identifying businesses or even entire industries that are going to fit in and be complementary to your existing business is by starting with the next few exercises in your workbook. Now, these exercises, they're going to have you really think hard about the products and services and then go on to listing actual company names and build your list of potential buyers. As you go through these exercises, I want you to keep in mind that the next 10 questions we're about to go over to help you do this work and complete these exercises are truly crucial. And I want you to fill them out with the utmost of accuracy and, well, really a lot of critical thought. The first question, who makes money when you make money? Now, this could be a distributor. It could be someone that distributes the products that you sell. They make money every time you make a sale. It could also be a supplier. This could even be possibly a customer that makes money when you make money, when you sell something to them. It could even be an independent distributor, someone that also makes money when you make money. The next question I want you to look at is, who does not make money when you make money? You see, if you make money, generally it means that someone else didn't make money, like your competitors, or even another type of product that didn't get selected for the purchase. So buying a competitor may provide multiple benefits to the buyer, to your acquirer. It may increase the customer base for the existing products. It could also reduce pressure on price by doing that. It could make the sales process more effective by eliminating a competitor and acquiring some new product capabilities. That buyer might want to upgrade their products or even integrate some of your products into theirs. They might want to cross-sell new products to their existing customers. They may want to acquire your technology or your research and development capability, or even acquire your entire customer base. These are all great reasons why another company may want to buy your company. And you need to brainstorm and think about all the other products and all the other services that do not make money when you make money, and write them down on your worksheet. These questions are going to build upon that and help you find the right buyer. The next question is, who can make more money than you can from your products? Give that some thought. This is where you look far and wide to find companies with a much larger capacity to scale your products and services into much, much larger markets. This would be a buyer that can easily introduce your products or services into existing customers or even into existing distribution channels. This buyer is going to have the capacity and the muscle to rapidly expand your products into an industry you're not currently in. Think of as many of these as you can and write them down. This is building your list of potential strategic buyers. The next question, who can remove a constraint on your business? So if you really want to grow your business, let's say 5 to 10 times your current size, what are the 1 or 2 roadblocks constraining your ability to do that? It could be your location. It could be your distribution channel. Maybe your export capabilities. Maybe it's your finances. There are literally dozens and dozens of constraints on your business. But if the constraint could be removed, how much more revenue and how much more profit could you achieve? The strategic buyer is the one that can overcome that roadblock. Give that some thought. Write down those products and services that can remove constraints on your business. The next question, who has a problem that you can solve? You know, your buyer may lack the capability or capacity in some new area, some new technology, even some new process. Sometimes the quickest way to solve the problem is to simply acquire it. Your company could be that one. Your company, if it can solve a big problem, may be an ideal acquisition. So think about what products or services you can solve a problem for with your products and services. The next question, what threat can you reduce or eliminate? Now, a threat occurs when a company or industry has a potential or even an actual decline in their revenue. Maybe it's from an existing competitor. They may not have the luxury or the time to create a competitive product. And so by acquiring already available products like your company, you may be able to help or even eliminate or reduce that threat. A threat might also occur where competitors are anticipated to undertake some action. Maybe they're going to enter the market. You know, being the first off the block may counter the advantage that their competitors would otherwise achieve. So A threat may also come with the loss of some key distribution agreement, maybe even a key account, maybe even they lose a key capability. Loss of key staff may also create a gap in capability in any part of the company. And so this is when an acquisition could be used to resolve the problem as well as provide increased capability for a company. So if you can eliminate a threat to a product or service, that becomes a potential buyer for you. Forward integration is sometimes used to reduce the threat of the loss of distribution capability. So a key distributor might be acquired by a competitor, or a distributor may be financially unstable. So rather than risk loss of the distribution capability, a strategic buyer simply buys it out. Or maybe it's a supplier. The supplier might be acquired. They may be a competitor and lock them out of a source of supply, or they may be financially unstable. These are all situations that you might be able to take advantage of. A supplier that's not developing products in line with the buyer strategy might also be acquired in order to own that capability. So expand your list of possible strategic buyers by thinking in detail, giving some serious critical thought to all of these questions, and write those down in your workbook. Start to begin to expand your list of potential strategic buyers for your company. Next question. Who sells to the same customers that you sell to? If you scan the customers to find another company which sells to them, that's often going to indicate a potential buyer who can capitalize on the knowledge of that type of customer. They may be able to cross-sell the products that they have and that you have, or utilize their own distribution channel to move new products. Another question is, who uses the same technology that you use? So if a key ingredient in the success of your company is the use of some specific technology, especially if that's an expensive or a difficult technology, or really time-consuming to acquire, another company that uses that same technology may want to buy another company so that they can come in and increase their own capacity, or allow them to enter into new markets. In the software technology industry, lots and lots of companies merged and were all acquired at the same time, the ones that used all this underlying language and database technology. So it's very common for companies or industries that have the same technology to start to merge. Think of this as a potential strategic acquisition for your buyer. All right, next question. Who needs your customer base? Now, the customer base can be a real valuable asset, especially if it provides opportunities for the buyer to sell additional products or to break into a new sector. Also, think about who needs your marketing capabilities, because this is another great asset to your business. Keep in mind also that the customer base is not just about a list of people, it's about the relationship that you've built with those people. And so that's really hard to start from scratch and acquire. And that's why companies want to come in and purchase your company, because you've already got that all critical relationship built with your list. Okay, next question. Who needs your technology or your people? So if you have specialized technology, especially if it's protected with patents, or specialized staff with really deep focused knowledge in your industry, in your technology, this provides a buyer with a huge scalable opportunity. So let's go ahead and go to the worksheets. And I want you to begin to identify these complementary businesses so that you can start to assemble your list of possible strategic buyers. All right, here's where the work begins. In exercise 5, you're going to start out by thinking about your own clients and answer the question. Listen to this. What 10 products or services are your ideal clients buying from somebody else that you think might possibly even remotely relate to your products or services? Look, this exercise is going to help you identify those business types, even entire industries that share a common client type with you. Now, the list, the worksheet only says 10, but frankly, the larger you can make this list, the larger your pool of potential buyers that you can find. You can start simply by brainstorming other vendor types that serve your clients. But I also want you to take this exercise even another step further. I also want you to do things like visit your clients if possible. Tour their locations, looking specifically for what products and services they're buying that are, let's say, a similar price point, similar in function, similar in any way whatsoever to your product or services that you provide for them. So, for example, if you sell some kind of marketing services to local businesses, I want you to go and tour your client's location. Ask them questions. You may notice that they may also be buying occupational training services for their employees, which is similar to your service based on price point. They may be buying or paying for a security alarm system, which is similar to your service because it's continuity based and you get a monthly fee for this service. You need to do some research, some serious research, to identify those products and services that your clients are using and write them down in the worksheets in exercise number 5. All right, then we're going to expand this list. So in exercise number 6, you're going to identify 4 actual companies, company names, that produce or deliver each of those products or services that you just identified. Now that you identified the product or service, or even an entire industry, what I want you to do is to find at least 4 companies, but the companies need to be doing at least $10 million annually. And they are going to be the ones that provide those products and services. Again, if you can identify more of them, then that makes your pool of potential buyers even larger. So make it bigger if possible. Now, I know there's no way for you to know 100% the revenue of those companies. So just use your best judgment here. If your company has an annual revenue of $1 million, then look for companies that have at least 10 times the number of employees or 10 times the size of your location. That'll give you a good rough estimate of the size of those companies. Now, once you complete this exercise, you are going to have a list of 40 potential companies that can better exploit your strategic assets and that can potentially you solve a large problem for them. This makes your business worth top dollar to them, and now you've started to build your pool of potential acquirers. Now we're going to make that pool even larger. In exercise number 7, you're going to identify 10 competitor companies that are doing at least $10 million in annual revenue. These are the ones that produce or deliver the same products and services that you do. I really want you to give some thought to your really big competitors, and I want you to think both locally and nationally. Really expand your target size. Go well beyond your local area. Internationally, if that applies to your industry. Do those exercises. Get those company names. Then move on to exercise number 8. In exercise number 8, I want you to identify 4 other products or services that your competitors are offering to their clients that you are not offering to your clients. This forces you to research your competitors and find out what other products and services they're using to make money with. This also, has the added benefit of allowing you to take a closer look at ways your business could expand into other areas. For now, though, I want you to focus on those products and services that they're using and you're not. And write them down in exercise number 8 worksheet. In exercise number 9, we're moving on. I want you to identify 4 companies that are direct competitors of your competitors. Now, this may seem like the same type of client, but think about companies that produce or deliver those other products and services that you just listed in exercise number 8. They're the products and services that compete with these other larger competitor companies. So, once you've completed all these exercises, you have yourself the initial population of possible strategic buyers that have something in common with your business. This list is probably much larger than you ever thought possible of companies that could be the eventual acquirer of your business. You've done a lot of work. This is a lot of work here. So go on, fill those worksheets out, get this done. I promise you it's going to be worth it. Now in this module, here's what we've done. We have covered the process of gaining some real clarity with your plan for being able to live a lifestyle of true financial liberation with a laser-focused number that you need. You also now know that you need to sell your business to a strategic buyer, and you have all the tools to help you to identify who those companies are and the companies that are going to be the most suitable to be that buyer for you. In the next module, you're going to learn how to find that right buyer now that you know exactly who that buyer is. Also, keep in mind that this program, the implementation of each module is just as important, if not more important, than the information that you've learned. Now, in order to get it all completed, I want you to set up that massive action work environment like we talked about at the beginning of this module. Don't neglect that. This is about massive action. This is about massive implementation. So now, go out. Take massive action every day so you can experience your own financial liberation. Welcome to the Exit Strategy Master Plan. My name is Walter Badgeron, and this is Module 2. This module is all about finding the ideal buyer for your business. In this module, you're going to learn about finding strategic buyers. Now, we're going to use both traditional sources that you may be aware of, but we're also going to use non-traditional resources. So let's get started. Finding motivated buyers. Now that you've completed the exercises from Module 1, you've got a fantastically valuable list of potential products and services, as well as industries that are related to your business. You then went on to use your own experience and research to find many actual companies that fit those criteria. And then, of course, you answered those 10 questions that we spoke about. This was a lot of work, and you built a real large pool of potential acquirers. Don't discount this work that you've done. This is a huge accomplishment and something that very few entrepreneurs actually do. In this module, we're going to take that initial list and we're going to expand it even farther. Then we're going to focus and we're going to whittle that list down to 10 or less well-qualified strategic buyers. This time, though, you're not going to rely on just your own brainstorming or your own knowledge of these industries. You're going to reach out to your connections as yet another source of this same information. You're going to start to develop the necessary connections that you're going to need with these key types of businesses and even this research media. And that's going to do two things for you. First, these are the types of professionals and the media that you're going to need to help you complete the sale of your business. We're going to go into a lot more detail in a later module on how they're going to help you complete the transaction of selling your businesses. But we're going to start to form that all-important relationship right now. And secondly, we're going to reach out to them and help us locate potential strategic buyers for your business. So let's start by identifying all of these connections that you can use to find your strategic buyers. We're going to go over the list of relationships that you're going to need to form, as well as the media that you're going to need to use to do this research. With each of these, you're going to take the products and services that you identified in Module 1 and expand that list using these connections that we're about to go over. You're also going to use them to find actual businesses and help you do your preliminary research. Your number one source of information on other businesses is your current list of vendors. So we start with the vendors. Look, they have to know what's going on in their industry. They also know who's making money and who's not. They know who's got good credit and who does not. They know which businesses are for sale and how much. They know which companies are expanding and buying other businesses and which ones are shrinking and not. They're going to be your eyes and ears into the industries that you already identified in Module 1 exercises. So if you want to know the truth about businesses in your city, cultivate a relationship with your own personal vendors. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how big or small these vendors are for you. It's not about what products and services that they provide for you. It's about their relationships with their clients that's going to be of greatest value to you. Now, this could be the vendor that supplies your office with coffee. They know a lot about the employee size of many companies. They get into a lot of informal conversations with key executives, down to the office receptionists, and they know a lot of details about other companies that you would never be able to find out on your own. So don't limit the vendors you reach out to for this research that you're going to do. They all have strengths and they all have relationships that are going to benefit you in finding out more about companies that could be potential strategic buyers, as well as inside information that can benefit you when narrowing your search to the best possible candidates. Number 2, businesses for sale websites. Now, this may seem like a bit of a strange research because you're trying to sell your business. You're not looking for another business to buy. And that is true. But these websites are a great source for details about those other products and services that you identified, as well as the other companies that sell them, because income, employee size, the geographic region, and lots of marketing copy about what they think sets their business apart has got to go into each of the listings on these websites so that they can be sold. So this becomes a great research tool for you to peer into other industries and learn more about them. Look, there are dozens and dozens of them, and there's a much more comprehensive list in your worksheets. But some of them include bizbuysell.com or mergerplace.com or mergernetwork.com. Another way this is going to help you is that you can take a much closer look at what other businesses like yours there are on the market, and you can see what other products and services they're selling. This helps you expand your search for other industries and business types that may be strategic buyers for your company. It also makes you realize just how different you want your business to look to a strategic buyer. You do not want to look like someone on these websites. These guys all look alike. They're all selling themselves as, well, quite frankly, commodities. This would be an example of how you don't want to sell your business. Now, that's not to say that you may not use this media as a resource or a media channel when you put your business on the market. Not maybe. But you just don't want your business to look like the majority of these businesses in a cookie-cutter format where it's difficult to tell one business from another. You're going to differentiate your company. The next place is a cold canvas and a search via the internet. Now, look, everyone knows that it's pretty easy to get more details on an industry or products and services on the internet. So taking the list of products and services that you got from Module 1, what you're going to do is you're going to research any and all products that relate to your business. Now, this is going to take some time because this is a vast research media, but you don't want to leave any stone unturned here. Do a thorough job of identifying any related product or any related service that might possibly relate in some way to yours. Places to concentrate your efforts would be on any associations within these industries. Many industries have multiple associations and multiple websites that you can gather a ton of information on. Here you're going to look for any other industries or any other products or services that are closely related to the ones you're researching. This is going to give you an additional potential strategic buyer list of these industries so you can expand that pool that you've started to develop. And once you've identified the product or service or even an entire industry, you can do more research using many of the Secretary of State's business search engine to get more details about identifying that company. Now, it's a good place to start. This is where you want to start your research with. Promotion. Look, letting the world know that you're looking to sell your business is going to be another very powerful tool in your arsenal. Now, you do need to concern yourself with who you let know about this because in many cases, it's best not to let your employees know, not right away, about any impending deal usually until it's much further along in the process. So you do want to promote the sale of your business, but it's crucial to only let those people that are involved in the deal know about it. So keep that in mind. Your next source are going to be your lawyers. You're going to need to have a large pool of lawyers to choose from when it comes time to sell your business, especially those that specialize in business sales and legal matters dealing with businesses. So establish a friendly relationship with yours, the one you're using for your company, and many others too. They could be involved in things like probate sales and the selling of estates. So, of course, they know about businesses that are for sale. And you're eventually going to need a lawyer as a critical part of your selling team when you close your business sale. So get to know as many as you can. Those that specialize in business are going to be your best relationships. You're also going to need to formally engage with them and tell them that you're going to begin the process of selling your business and let them know that you would like them to help you find the right buyer. Since they're going to be involved in some of the negotiations when it comes time to sell your business, look, they can also help you locate a buyer too. So use this resource as another valuable tool in your arsenal of finding the right strategic buyer. CPAs and accountants. Guess who has the books on businesses in your community? The CPAs and accountants. They're involved in the sale of their clients' businesses too. Many times, the CPAs and accountants have the inside knowledge that you're going to need. They know who's making money. They know how much. And who has a great profitable operation and who doesn't. You can use larger CPA firms with larger client bases as a source for potential buyers since they're typically involved in their clients' transactions, and they can kind of be your bird dog, helping you locate potential buyers. Use your contacts and establish a personal relationship with them, and many of them if you can. The more the merrier, since you're here to expand your reach and find as many potential strategic buyer candidates that you're going to reach out to. So reach out to as many CPAs and accountants to help you in your search for a buyer, as well as to research those companies once you've narrowed your list down. Bookkeepers and bookkeeping services. This is really the same as the CPAs and lawyers, but they also have another great reason for helping you out, because you might become their client. Think about this research from the perspective of your vendors too. They think that if they help you out, that you'll help them out. And one way you can really help them out is to become their client. They'll be a whole lot more cooperative in your search and research if you're their customer. So they have a vested interest in looking out for you too. Your next source is going to be stockbrokers. Now, often overlooked by business buyers, stockbrokers really can be an excellent source because they're sometimes involved in the sale of stocks of business corporations. So get to know a few of them and let them spread the word through their brokerage community. Like the lawyers and the CPAs and the business your accountants, they're professionals, and they can be motivated by the promise of a finder's fee. So don't think that money doesn't motivate them, because it certainly does. Next are your bankers. Now, who should know more about the finances of local businesses than the banker? Sellers usually let their banker know if they're selling, especially if there are outstanding business loans involved. So if you're not yet on a first-name basis with a banker, now is the time to do just that and get multiple of those. Another odd resource is the Wall Street Journal. It is a source of information on businesses that are for sale. So if you look in the businesses for sale section, watch out for the ads that list the only telephone number when you call, because they're going to do their utmost to qualify you on the phone. Also, ads that carry a P.O. box numbers are the best. But the Journal is also a great newspaper in which for you to list your ads about your wants and needs for a buyer. So keep in mind the Wall Street Journal could also be a good potential source for you. Trade journals. Now, every industry has dozens, some even hundreds of publications that are devoted solely to that industry. So there are trade journals for food service, hotels, motels, electronics. There's trade journals for broadcasting, shipping, entertainment, automotive, and on and on. Your vendor friends are usually going to have a few of them laying around in their offices, so trade journals could be another potential source for you to find the strategic buyer that you're looking for. Next would be real estate brokers. One of the better groups of professionals to be in touch with, although normally concerned with real estate, is a real estate broker. The very nature of their industry brings them in touch with businesses that are for sale. They too like a finder's fee for helping you find businesses. So again, money can motivate, and finder's fee can motivate them to help you out. Now, the telephone book. Now, this is really a natural beginning to your cold canvassing, and you're really going to appreciate the yellow page system of listing businesses by categories. And I know what you're saying. You might think that the print version is antiquated media, but you'd be dead wrong. You see, the display ads will often give you a feel for the size and the personality of a business because it directly relates to cost. Those that can spend more are larger companies, so be on the lookout for larger ads as well as multiple ads in multiple sections. This is a sign of a company that's willing to spend more money in most cases. So keep that in mind. A telephone book is not antiquated. It could be a good source for you. And then directories. Businesses and government publications publish an almost endless array of directories, listing businesses by type, businesses by size and location, and all sorts of other categories. So you can go to the public library, look in the reference section. There are these directories. One of the best sources for businesses to contact by telephone, letter, or even in person is your directory. The Dun & Bradstreet is also another great place because Dun & Bradstreet provides credit information and special reports on businesses. Now, they do charge for their services, but you have a friendly contact who subscribes, you can use them as a place to start. So Dun & Bradstreet is another great source for information on potential strategic acquisitions. Your Chamber of Commerce. Now, your local chamber provides essential information about the economic climate in your area. The Chamber is going to give you specific facts and figures about business trends, business opportunities, and they're going to acquaint you with any kind of ownership movement in local industries and businesses in your area. Now, in order to get a realistic feel of a business community, the Chamber is a real must for you. It's also a great source of well-prepared material to include in your presentation if you have to get any investors involved in the acquisition of your business, if you have any investors that are already involved in your business. The Better Business Bureau. Because the Better Business Bureau is the watchdog of business activities, you can quickly determine how any particular business is being received by the public. You'll be able to look and see if there are any complaints have been registered and if they've been resolved. That's really important. The Bureau is a great agency for you to connect yourself with in your search for businesses to buy your business. So if you can get acquainted with their staff, especially local staff, they'll often informally share information about businesses that are in transition that they're already aware of. Another source are business brokers. Keep in mind that this source can be really great or it could be really grim, really dependent on how you use the brokers and what you expect. So if you want a contract for a broker to represent you as the buyer, that's one way. Usually the broker approach represents the seller and they collect his or her fee from the seller and is legally obligated to get the best price and terms for the seller. Because of this arrangement, you should be ready to suffer the broker doing his or her best to qualify you before revealing too much pertinent information during this deal. Mergers and acquisitions companies. M&A companies, much like business brokers, only they're bigger and they deal with larger companies. These are really a highly professional network of individuals and typically a real delight to work with because they know the types of strategies that we're talking about here. You're not going to have to talk them out of financial acquisition. You're going to be able to easily talk to them about strategic acquisitions. And lastly, management consultants. These guys are the individuals and even firms that are on the inside track of business, and they often know what's going on before news ever hits the streets. They also have priceless information about the current and potential worth of a business since they're the professionals. You should also assume that they deserve a fee for their effort when they work on your behalf. Okay, so now let's get into the worksheets. Now with all of these new resources that we just talked about, and they're at your disposal to locate and find other products and services beyond what you're capable of finding just yourself, go to exercise number 1 in your worksheets. Now in this exercise, you're going to list 5 places per resource where you're going to find these products and services. This is going to become your resource list. You're going to list company names when it comes to vendors and CPAs and lawyers, and you're going to list websites and locations, online and offline. This is going to be a truly valuable tool for you moving forward. You want to reference this very often. Then in the next 2 exercises, you're going to use those resources to first in exercise number 1, further expand your list of products and services that are complementary to your business. And in exercise number 3, you are going to identify another 4 actual companies that sell those products or perform those services. Just like in Module 1, we want to look for companies doing at least $10 million annually that provide each of those products or services. Again, if you can identify more of them, that makes your pool of potential buyers even larger. So make it bigger if you can. Now, again, there's no way to know the revenue of these companies, so just use your best judgment here. If your company has an annual revenue of $1 million, then look for companies that have at least 10 times employees that you do or 10 times location size. Once you complete this exercise, you're going to have a list of 40 more new potential companies that can better exploit your strategic assets and that you can potentially solve a big problem for. This makes your business worth top dollar to them. And now you've just established a pool of over 100 potential acquirers. Job well done. This is huge for you. This is a lot of work, but it's well worth every single bit of time and effort that you took to gain this valuable knowledge. Now that you have this large list of companies, it's time for you to apply some very, very critical filters to this list to get to the top 10 businesses that can be your strategic buyer. You'll recognize these questions, but this time, when you answer these questions, your goal is not to expand the list. You've already done that. You now have a list of over 100, but it's to eliminate those that are not the best fit for you. What you want to do is, well, move 90% of them to the bottom of your list, and you're going to find just the top 10. So now it's time to ask the following 10 questions and apply some critical thought to these questions. Look at your list of companies and eliminate any from the top 10 that aren't top 10 worthy. And these questions are, you'll recognize them. Who makes money when you make money? Previously, you listed distributors or suppliers or even customers. This time around, I want you to pick only the best of these companies that fit in with the products that you sell. Select those that make the most money every time you make a sale. This could be your supplier. This could be your customer that makes more money when you sell something to them. If there are any companies on your list that don't fit in this criteria or they don't have a great answer for this question, then they may not be top 10 worthy. At this time, I want you to do is move them down the list. Right now, we want to get those that you think might be the best fit. We're looking for the top 10 because we've got some more work to do once we get moving here. Next question. Who does not make money when you make money? Now, we talked about this before. When you make a sale, which biggest competitor or most profitable other type of product did not get selected for purchase when that sale was made? Think about the competitor that most wants to increase their customer base for their existing products, because every sale that you make increases pressure on them and their price. And they would make the sales process more effective by eliminating you as a competitor and even acquire some new products and capabilities if they bought you out. So who best fits that description from your list? All right. Next question. Who can make more money than you can from your own products? Now, at first you look far and wide to find companies with the capacity to scale your products or services into much, much larger markets. You looked at which companies on your list can most easily introduce your products or services to their existing customers and into their existing distribution channels. This buyer would have the biggest capacity and the most muscle to rapidly expand your products into an industry that you're not currently in. Again, the point here is to find only the best who answers that question, that who can make more money with your products. Whittle it down. You're trying to get to the top 10. Who does that the best? Move those that don't fit this criteria to the bottom of your list, and the one or two that fit it the best, move those to the top of your list. All right, next question. Who can remove a constraint on your business? Again, if you want to grow your business exponentially by 5 or 10 times bigger, which company could most easily remove the one or two roadblocks that are constraining your ability to do that? This would be the only company that has the best location or the best distribution channel or the best export capability or the best finances or so on. Pick just one or two from your list that can best answer this question and move them to the top of the list. There will be others on your list that have potential to do this well, but for now, we're only looking at the best one or two. You're not going to get rid of the others. You're just going to prioritize those that have the best opportunity to exploit this opportunity that you're giving them. They're the best possible strategic buyer for you. Moving on. Who has a problem that you can solve? You know, every business has an area where they lack capability or they lack some capacity or even a new technology or they lack a new process. So select the companies where these problems seem the biggest and the companies where you could most easily solve this problem for. Only the biggest problems and only the best solution are a fit at this point. So pick the best fit for now. In a later module, we'll go into a lot more depth on finding problems that you can fix, and your list may likely change a little bit, but for now, look at your list and find your top one or two that fit this criteria. Bring them to the top of your list. The next question, what threat can you reduce or can you eliminate? Your top 10 list will have only companies with the biggest threat that occurs and has the biggest potential or even the biggest actual decline in revenue. So give some thought to their competitors and which companies don't have the luxury of time to create a competitive product. So by acquiring your company, you would give them already available products to eliminate that threat. So look at your list. Find the company that's losing a key distribution agreement or losing a key account or losing a key capability. This is when an acquisition could be used to resolve the problem as well as provide increased capability. If there are any companies on your list that don't fit this criteria or don't answer this question with a real great answer, move them to the bottom of the list and pick only the ones that fit this best and move them to the top. All right, who sells to the same customers that you do? Again, scan your customer list to find another company which sells to the largest amount of those clients. This is the vendor that keeps popping up constantly as a vendor of your customer. This is the best company that answers the questions and should be the top of your list. This company is a potential buyer who can most easily capitalize on knowledge of that customer sector and be able to cross-sell other products or utilize their own distribution channel to move new products. And this is the most suitable potential buyer for your company. Next question, who uses the same technology you use? We talked about this in the last module. Which companies on your list use a specific technology which is the most expensive or which is the most difficult or even the most time-consuming to acquire or to initiate within a business? Which company has the most to gain through increased capacity or the ability to move more easily into new markets? In software technology, we talked about this last time, lots and lots of companies merged and were acquired that all use the same underlying language or database technology. So go back, do the research with your connections as we just went over and determine which one or two companies are the best fit for these questions and move them to the top of your list. Who needs your customer base? Your customer base is a very valuable asset. So which businesses in your list most need your customer list and the all-important relationship that you have with that list? Look, let's face it, a list is just a bunch of names, but the relationship you have with that list is what's so valuable. So which company on your list most needs that relationship so they can sell additional products to? Who most needs your list because it would be a new sector of customers that they could break into? That relationship that you have established with your existing clients is extremely valuable to another company. So give some thought to who can most use that list. Bring them to the top of this list. Now they're going to go in your top 10. Okay, who needs your technology and who needs your people? Who on your list most needs your specialized technology, especially if it's protected with patents? Who most needs your specialized staff? You know, the staff that has a real deep knowledge, because this can provide a buyer with really huge scalable opportunities. Which company can most easily scale the size of their operation if they had access to your staff or your patents or your specialized knowledge? These are the top potential buyers on your list. These are the guys that you want to top. Everyone else goes towards the bottom, and later module we'll get into why we're going to keep those, but making sure that you've got your list of top 10. Okay, the worksheet section now. This selection process should have the objective of identifying those companies which have the capability and the capacity to fully and quickly exploit all of your strategic assets and your strategic capabilities of your company. You want the potential buyer to quickly see the benefits of an acquisition and to recognize that they have the capability to exploit its revenue potential. So you're going to move down to the bottom of your list any acquisition beginners or any corporations that just want to enter a new market unless it's their core competence. You want a potential buyer who thinks it's going to be really easy to achieve the benefits of the acquisition because they understand it, as well as they have the capacity and the capability to roll out that new product or service and already have experience in that target market. Ideally, you're seeking a very large corporation which can bring your products to market quickly. They also have the customer base or the distribution channels already in place and has the resources to do the job efficiently and really quickly. If you can structure your company so that your strategic asset or your strategic capability can be rapidly scaled or even replicated. Choose which companies from your list have the best chance of taking it to market and then generating the most revenue from it. Who does that? Your ideal buyer is a corporation which can take on the strategic asset or strategic capability and quickly generate revenue by selling it into an existing marketplace where they already have access. This should narrow your list to the top 10 best strategic potential buyers for your company. You've done a lot here. So in this module, what we've covered, we've talked about where you're going to find the best strategic buyers that are best suited to buy your business. This grew your list to 100 or more potential candidates. Then you narrowed that list down to only the best top 10 candidates by applying some critical thought and by asking 10 questions to find the best candidates from your list. Now, in the next module, you're going to learn how to solve the biggest problems for that strategic buyer by identifying your strategic assets and your strategic capabilities and enable the right buyer to pay you top dollar for your business. Also, I want you to keep in mind that this program is the implementation of each module is just as important, if not more important, than the information that you've learned. Now, in order to get all this completed, I want you to set up a massive action work environment. So set aside time to complete each of these exercises in this module, even if that means that you must make an appointment with yourself or with your team to make sure that this time gets set aside. If you're completing this exercise with a team, set aside time for them to work independently, and then the two of you get together to create this shared vision. Don't worry about making it look pretty and neat or using exact words or getting every detail exactly right. This is about implementation and getting the concepts onto paper so everyone's working together. So do this. Go find a quiet room where you won't be disturbed. Put a do not disturb sign on your door, close it and lock it. Put the phone on do not disturb, turn off the cell phone, unplug everything, turn off email, any instant messaging, close out of everything. Focus 100% on everything that you're doing here. This becomes the exit strategy master plan. So now go out and take massive action every day so you can experience your own financial liberation with this master plan.